What's up, everyone? My name is Jolyn GC and the place to be, and I am the co-creator and producer of the Come Up series. I'm super excited about this episode and really about this series called Wealth Rituals. It is all about the insight, the preparation, the goal setting, the emotions, the tears, the laughter, all of that. With this, I'm going to give you the real numbers. Most people don't give you the real numbers of what they started out with, but I'm just going to tell you because, we're family, we're cousins. So I know many of you are like part of the one contract gang, and I just want to go on this journey with you. This is really for those of you that are just starting out. You may just be having ups and downs. This is for you. Like, we're taking it back to November 26, 2018. That was the first day that I became a trader, the first day in the market. So on that first day, I was terrified. I mean, scared. I did not do not one lick of research. I didn't even know what exactly an XLK, an XLY, and an XLC was, because I had a really good friend / brother, Mark, choose my trades for me. He didn't want me to be scared. He started me at the finish line and then eventually walked me back to the starting line. Picture it, November 26, 2018, pre-pandemic. The market actually is relatively affordable. I started out with, I had an E-Trade account, and I rolled over this random 401k that I had that I totally forgot all about. I was wondering why T. Rowe Price kept blowing up my phone. And so when I finally called them back, they were like, Miss GC, you have money. What do you want us to do with it? And I was like, money? What are you talking about? And they told me it was this old 401k. And so I was like, well, how much is in there? And so they, sent me the letter, the official letter, saying that I had exactly $9,483.20. At the time, that money really did feel like $1 million because I was an artist. I was living off of like grants and different like artist contracts. And so to know that I actually had some money to just start off with investing was amazing. Out of that, I took exactly, I made 3 trades: XLK, XLY, and XLC. And because I kept this journal for a whole year, I can tell you the exact amounts of how this was allocated. So for XLY, I had $2,200. XLK, $2,955. And XLC, $1,450. So that was a total of $6,672.60. So I had some money still on the sidelines, and then I had a little over $6,000 starting in the market. Now remember, this was my very first trade. I did not know what I was doing, and I didn't even know who XLK was. I had no idea. I mean, I know now, but I didn't know at the time. Prior to that, Mark had wanted me to get into the market 3 weeks ago, and I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't even know what I was doing, And it wasn't like I was scared to lose the money. It was more so that I was just scared of the unknown. Like, is this really happening? Like, what is happening? I didn't even know what was going on. My money's in the account. So that day, I made exactly $277.40. And I was lit. I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm out here. I'm making $277.40, and I didn't work for it. So I was just so excited. I started thinking about like, okay, this is fun. And the market that day actually was green all across. And for each of those positions, I had a minimum of 2-digit contracts. So I had 10 contracts in one, 15 in another, and then 10 in another one. I think I had 10 in XLC. XLC in our relationship is very troubled. I'll have to tell you guys about that later. But y'all know how I feel about XLK. XLK is like the parent that will pay your rent when you ain't got it. The parent that really just wants you to do well and is always rooting for you. So XLK and I have a really good relationship. And XLY is kind of like a step parent who tries to buy you off with gifts, but you never know what quarter they're gonna come through to give you those gifts. That's how I feel about XLK, XLY, and we'll talk about XLC another day, because during that time, XLC was brand new. I don't even think they were a year old yet, and they move super slow. To this day, XLC is one of my worst trades ever. And really, it wasn't that much money, but at the time, it felt like a lot. Now, here I am, excited about $277 and some change. And what's funny is, that's pocket change to Mark, but he treated each and every single one of my dollars like they were precious. And I appreciate that. And another key thing that really made it so that I could just be comfortable, Mark told me that if I lost any of that principal, that he would personally give me the money out of his own pocket. So I was like, okay, bet. I'm about to make all these risky moves out here. I'm gonna be super risk adventurous. I had set a goal for the year. My goal was for exactly $15,000 by the end of year one. That's a whole year, okay? So that's what I was thinking. Fast forward maybe 3 days later, it was less than a week. I checked my account and that $6,672.60 now read $15,999 and some change. And I was like, hold up, Mark, run those numbers back. Because I would send him a screenshot every single day. And he was just, very calm, like, yeah. And I was like, what is going on here? And he was like, at that time, he did not have a water bottle, so he was not sipping. But if he did have a water bottle, he would have been sipping. And he was just like, yeah, it's that new math. And I was like, this new math, they didn't teach me this in school. Where was that? I would have signed up for that class in a heartbeat. Y'all, imagine this. I have just doubled my money in 3 days. And I'm confused. I'm like, how do you do this math? What is going on here? And that's when the lesson and the mentorship started to happen. Mark started teaching me about options and teaching me about the options like contracts and how that math really does work. And the biggest thing that I learned from that very first trade, that first day, is that, oh my gosh, I am thinking too small. If I could make my entire year goal in a matter of days, I was thinking too small. And in that thinking too small, I realized that there were some other beliefs that were going on there as well. It was almost as if I needed a full year to make that $15,000. But what was happening was, that was the Jolyn who always worked and barely saved. I barely saved. I was not a saver at all. And so at this point, I'm thinking, okay, let me take this serious. Let me be a student about this. And I remember thinking, I'm going to be Mark's best student. I'm going to call this brother every day. I am going to ask 80 jillion questions. I am going to go over this math, because math really was not my strong suit. That's why I went to law school. And I told myself, okay, I really got to approach this like an investor. What would an investor do? An investor would take notes, right? An investor would have a whole book of notes. An investor would read books. An investor would have, I imagine, research hours. So I started to put all these things into play. And those are some of the rituals that we'll talk about later. But right now, we're talking about this new math, because the math for options is different. Now, we've talked about rolling fours. I don't remember which episode it is, but go through and look up those episodes. I think it's A New World Rebuilt. You want to watch that episode, because that right there, at the time, Mark wasn't telling me what I was doing. He was just showing me what was possible. But he didn't tell me this is called rolling fours. So I'm really going through this blind. Y'all have the advantage of knowing the landscape, knowing where you're going. Me, I was just, I'm kicking it. I'm like, okay, Mark, I'm gonna learn. And one thing about me is that I am highly coachable, especially where it's something completely new. I'm super coachable. And that's a really good, not skill, but a good trait to have and to cultivate, is to be coachable. If someone who has been there and has done that and is super far past you, if they tell you to do something, just do it and see what happens. Just try it on. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, but at least you tried it the way that they intended. Because I know some of y'all are the way you're doing your rolling four. Some of you have raggedy portfolios and you got short-term contracts, and you already know we're not doing short-term contracts, but that's a whole nother other. So back to this new math. So with this new math, I decided, okay, I'm thinking too small. Let me think bigger. And that's when it started. That's when I started taking very calculated risk, assessing risk to reward, and really, because I knew Mark had my back, just like he has your back, I knew I could do it, and I was just going to go for it. So part of that looked like imagining what this new number could be and what those metrics were. So I went from saying, okay, my year goal is $15,000 to, okay, I'm gonna get at least 50K. I'm gonna shoot for 50K. And really, even that was thinking small, because at that time, if I would have really thought big, I think I was thinking medium. If I would have really thought big in that first year, definitely would have been six figures on the way to $1 million. So this first ritual really is about understanding this new math. And part of that really does involve thinking bigger. So I challenge you right now that if you are looking at your goals, that you just times it by 3. Whatever the number is, just times it by 3. That's an arbitrary number multiplier to do it by, but I want you to just think about what that number could be and make it a number that you feel uncomfortable even visualizing, even seeing in your portfolio. And stick with that number and watch that math work. Y'all, if you don't get anything else from me in this video, know this. Thinking too small will be detrimental to your growth. So don't do it. Think as big and as bold as you can when it comes to your wealth building journey. Don't even let you limit you. Let the new math with its compounding effects and multipliers think for you. It's easy to take $2,000 and grow that over and over and over again without even contributing any more than that. Let the math do the work. Just get out of the way of the new math. So all your doubt, any confusion, any money stories, just scoot it off to the side, because this new math really is for you. This new math is the way to your wealth freedom story. I promise. Now, I'm not going to personally, if you lose any money, you lose money. So I'm not personally going to do that. Like, I'm not Mark. I'm not going to do that. But I am here for you. So if there is a moment where you're feeling like you're thinking too small, I want you to reach out to me on IG and let me know, and we can have a conversation about it. Because here's the difference. We're on the journey together. It's not just you. It's not just me. It's all of us. And just hold on to that vision of this collective walk away, because it's coming. This is Jolyn GC and the place to be, and this is Wealth Rituals. Peace.